Hey, it's Sue. I'm glad you joined me today for the Bible reading. I am reading for June 8th, and it's Job 24 through 28. Just a short reading today, I think. Verse 1. Why aren't times laid up by the Almighty? Why don't those who know him see his days? There are people who remove the landmarks. They violently take away flocks and feed them. They drive away the donkey of the fatherless, and they take away the widow's ox for a pledge. They turn the needy out of the way. The poor of the earth all hide themselves. Behold, as wild donkeys in the desert, they go out to their work, seeking diligently for food. The wilderness yields them bread for their children. They cut their food in the field. They glean the vineyard of the wicked. They lie all night naked without clothing, and have no clothing in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and embrace the rock for lack of shelter. There are those who pluck the fatherless from the breast and take a pledge of the poor, so that they go around naked without clothing. Being hungry, they carry the sheaves. They make oil within the walls of these men. That's a strange one. They make oil within the walls of these men. They tread wine presses and suffer thirst. From out of the populous city, men groan. The soul of the wounded cries out, yet God doesn't regard the folly. These are of those who rebel against the light. They don't know its ways, nor stay in its paths. The murderer rises with the light. He kills the poor and needy. In the night he is like a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye will see me. He disguises his face. In the dark they dig through houses. They shut themselves up in the daytime. They don't know the light, for the morning is to all of them like thick darkness, for they know the terrors of thick darkness. They are foam on the surface of the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. They don't turn into the way of the vineyards. Drought and heat consume the snow waters. So does Sheol those who have sinned. The womb will forget him. The worm will feed sweetly on him. He will be no more remembered. Unrighteousness will be broken as a tree. He devours the barren who don't bear. He shows no kindness to the widow. Yet God preserves the mighty by his power. He rises up who has no assurance of life. God gives them security and they rest in it. His eyes are on their ways. They are exalted, yet a little while, and they are gone. Yes, they are brought low, they are taken out of the way as all others, and are cut off as the tops of the ears of grain. If it isn't so now, who will prove me a liar and make my speech worth nothing? Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, dominion and fear are with him. He makes peace in his high places. Can his armies be counted? On whom does his light not arise? So I don't understand everything that's been said so far in today's reading. I imagine reading some different versions would help clear that up a little bit. And of course, looking up the root um, Hebrew here. But it does seem that they're all kind of giving their commentary again about God. And of course, the whole overarching theme of Job having to do with God's justice. So again, Bildad the Shuhite answered, dominion and fear are with him. He makes peace in his high places. Can his armies be counted? On whom does his light not arise? How then can man be just with God? Or how can he who is born of a woman be clean? Behold, even the moon has no brightness, and the stars are not pure in his sight. How much less man who is a worm, the son of man who is a worm? Then Job answered, how have you helped him who is without power? How have you saved the arm that has no strength? How have you counseled him who has no wisdom, and plentifully declared sound knowledge? To whom have you uttered words? Whose spirit came out of you? The departed spirits tremble, those beneath the waters, and all them that live in them. Sheol, this is the place of the dead, Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering. Let me see what Abaddon is for this footnote. Destroyer. Abaddon, Abaddon, it is pronounced different ways. So let me go back to the beginning of that verse. Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering. He stretches out the north over empty space and hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not burst under them. He encloses the face of his throne and spreads his cloud on it. He has described a boundary on the surface of the waters and to the confines of light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his rebuke. He stirs up the sea with his power, and by his understanding he strikes through Rahab. By his spirit, capital S, by his spirit the heavens are garnished. His hand has pierced the swift serpent. Behold, these are but the outskirts of his ways. How small a whisper do we hear of him? But the thunder of his power, who can understand? It's funny it says that because it's thundering right outside my window right now. I really like that back part. That last part. Let me read it again. By his spirit the heavens are garnished. His hand has pierced the swift serpent. Behold, these are but the outskirts of his ways. How small a whisper do we hear of him, but the thunder of his power, who can understand? Job again took up his parable and said, As God lives, who has taken away my right, the Almighty who has made my soul bitter, for the length of my life is still in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. Surely my lips will not speak unrighteousness, neither will my tongue utter deceit. Far be it from me that I should justify you. Until I die, I will not put away my integrity from me. I hold fast to my righteousness and will not let it go. My heart will not reproach me so long as I live. Let my enemy be as the wicked. Let him who rises up against me be as the unrighteous. For what is the hope of the godless when he is cut off, when God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry when trouble comes on him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty and call on God at all times? I will teach you about the hand of God. I will not conceal that which is with the Almighty. Behold, all of you have seen it yourselves. Why then have you become altogether vain? This is the portion of a wicked man with God, the heritage of the oppressors which they receive from the Almighty. If his children are multiplied, it is for the sword. His offspring will not be satisfied with bread. Those who remain of him will be buried in death. His widows will make no lamentation. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare clothing as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just will put it on. The innocent will divide the silver. He builds his house as the moth, as a booth which the watchman makes. He lies down rich, but he will not do so again. He opens his eyes, and he is not. Terrors overtake him like waters. A storm seals him away in the night. The east wind carries him away, and he departs. It sweeps him out of his place, for it hurls at him and does not spare. As he flees away from his hand, men will clap their hands at him, and will hiss him out of his place. Surely there is a mine for silver and a place for gold which they refine. Isn't that interesting? It says it will hiss him out of his place. Verse 23 again. Men will clap their hands at him and will hiss him out of his place. Surely there is a mine for silver and a place for gold which they refine. Iron is taken out of the earth and copper is smelted out of the ore. Man sets an end to darkness and searches out to the furthest bound the stones of obscurity and of thick darkness. He breaks open a shaft away from where people live. They are forgotten by the foot. They hang far from men. They swing back and forth. As for the earth, out of it comes bread. Underneath it is turned up, as it were, by fire. Sapphires come from its rocks. It has dust of gold. That path no bird of prey knows, neither has the falcon's eye seen. Now let me stop and say that's one of my old memory verses too. It's the other version says, the path where the vulture's eye has not seen. That's one of my prayers. I pray, I thank you, Lord, that I walk in the path where the vulture's eye has not seen. Because to me, it speaks of the curse. That's verse 7 in the last chapter here. So again, backing up. Verse 6, sapphires come from its rocks. It has dust of gold. That path no bird of prey knows, neither has the falcon's eye seen it. The proud animals have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed by there. He puts his hand on the flinty rock and he overturns the mountains by the roots. He cuts out channels among the rocks. His eye sees every precious thing. He binds the streams that they don't trickle. The thing that is hidden he brings out to light. But where will wisdom be found? Where is the place of understanding? Man doesn't know its price. Neither is it found in the land of the living. The deep says, "It isn't in me." The sea says, "It isn't with me." It can't be gotten for gold, neither will silver be weighed for its price. It can't be valued with the gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx or the sapphire. There's the gold of Ophir again. Remember what I said yesterday, or maybe the day before? Not sure. 17. Gold and glass can't equal it, neither will it be exchanged for jewels of fine gold. No mention will be made of coral or crystal. Yes, the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Ethiopia will not equal it, nor will it be valued with pure gold. Where then does wisdom come from? Where is the place of understanding? Seeing it is hidden from the eyes of all living and kept close from the birds of the sky. Destruction and death say, "We have heard a rumor of it with our ears." God understands its way and he knows its place, for he looks to the ends of the earth and sees under the whole sky. He establishes the force of the wind. Yes, he measures out the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of thunder, then he saw it and declared it. He established it, yes, and searched it out. To man he said, "Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. To depart from evil is understanding." Well, that's a great way to end today's reading. I want to read that last part again because it's in that whole last bit. It's searching for wisdom, right? Who can know it? Who knows where it originates from? All that. And then here at the end it says, to man he said, "Behold, the fear of the Lord is wisdom. To depart from evil is understanding." Well, that's it for today's reading. Bless your day. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to come back tomorrow. Till then.